What's up, YouTube? Back with another video, and today I want to talk about playing out online and what 2K can do to make it a better experience for 2K22. Because right now it kind of sucks when it really doesn't have to. And I feel like with any game mode or just game in general, if you hit on like three categories plus like a lot of other little stuff, but if you hit on three categories, you have foundation of a really good game or game mode. And those three things to me are gameplay that's fun but also makes sense, um rewards and incentives, so being rewarded for your grind and the amount of time that you put into the game, and incentives to play the game but to also get better at the game too, and quality of life, which are things that don't necessarily affect the gameplay but they can affect your overall experience on the game. And in this video, I'm not even going to talk about gameplay. And that's not to say that gameplay is perfect, because it's not. And we can all agree that the gameplay does need changes. But we all play the game differently and we all have a different idea of how the game should be played. And so it would be like a lot of compromising and like meeting down the middle to like appeal to as many people as possible. Whereas things like rewards and just like the quality of life type of stuff, I feel like these things all would be universally agreed upon everybody and there would be no debate about it. And on top of that, having good gameplay ideas is one thing, but actually implementing them and executing them is an entirely different thing. Whereas like a lot of these things that's based around like rewards and quality of life, I feel like these things wouldn't be that hard to implement. And I feel like that's what Play Now needs the most. Like, to me, it's not trash necessarily because of the gameplay. It's just because there's literally no reason to play it and no incentive to play it, so nobody plays it. And 2K can see that as well. Nobody plays this mode, so we can focus more on My Team and Park, because those are the most popular modes and it makes them the most money, which fine. But people aren't playing it because they didn't give us a reason to play it. Not necessarily because it's trash. It's just because there's no play it. So this video is more so based around like rewards and quality of life type of things that 2K can do to make people want to play now. And yeah, so let's get into it. Starting with the rewards, um, you basically get nothing for like playing Play Now. Like, you get like trophies and a little VC, which is basically nothing. Um, and seeing that 2K has so many different modes, I feel like they've been dropping the ball on the opportunity to unite the modes in a way that you can unlock things in one mode from other modes. And I feel like that can help a lot of the less popular modes like Play Now, because you can make rewards that you get from playing Play Now for your mod player or in My Team. So an idea that I had was you can unlock like shorts or jerseys or other cosmetics for your mod player through Play Now Online. So if you wanted a pair of shorts, you can buy it from the NBA store, or let's say you could win a game with a certain team and get that team shorts. Same thing for jerseys. You either spend like 5 to what 30,000 VC for some of the historic jerseys, which is like, kind of ridiculous, or you can go to Play Now Online and score like a certain amount of points with a player and you could get that player's jersey. I think that's perfectly fair, and that gives at least a little bit of incentive to play now. You could also do like GOAT League rewards. So making a GOAT League, you don't really get anything, which is kind of a shame, because I feel like if the top 1% of players accomplish something like this, like they should get rewarded for it with something cool, but you don't get anything. But an idea that I had was, what if you unlock like some type of exclusive GOAT mascot suit that you can wear and play in on a park? Because we already have mascots in the game. It's just that you have to be Elite 3 to get one, but you would make like an exclusive one, because I don't think no team has a GOAT for their mascot. So you have a GOAT mascot suit, and it wouldn't matter what rep you are, you can always be able to wear it. So even though I can be, like All-Star 3 on a park or something, but if I make it to the GOAT League, I could show up to the park in a mascot suit and I'll have like something to show for it. So people won't think I'm just some kind of complete noob. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a pretty cool idea. And like I said, I feel like that's something that wouldn't be hard to implement. You could also do like what they did in 2K15, where when you hit Legend, you could walk around the park with a tiger. But what if you could walk around the park with a goat if you did a goat league? So now I can have my goat mascot suit on, walking around with a goat next to me. I think that's pretty cool. That's something that I would play now for. And obviously, have like rewards for every league that you rank up in. I don't know what they could do, but I'm pretty sure they could figure something out. And you can also do the same thing for my team. Like if I make it to the GOAT League, what if I unlock an exclusive my team card that I only get from making to the GOAT League and play now, and also make the card auctionable so that if I want to, I can sell it for a bajillion MT because it's going to be such a rare card. I think that's pretty cool, and it gives some kind of incentive to want to play now. And those are just things that just I thought of on my own. Now imagine if like the whole play now department or whoever works on play now in the studio, like what if they all got together and came up with ideas? I'm pretty sure they can come up with other things that'll make play now like more rewarding. Another thing that they could possibly do is have like events. We already have events in the park where you get double rep. So why not have some type of play now online event? How to get like double VC or maybe like double rank progress or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. As well as also have like a wager system. So in the park, you have a wager system like through the ante up or the stage, if you want to call it. Even though in next gen they took it out and made it an event. But on current gen, you can like just go to the stage and play wagers. Why not have wagers for play now? That's something I would do, and it can make some good content. But again, like it gives you some type of incentive or another reason to want to play now. And again, it's already in the game. You would just be bringing over to play now. So again, that's not something that I see that would be like hard to implement. And another thing that they can also do is have challenges. So like daily challenges, weekly challenges, and even bonus challenges. So in my team, I'm pretty sure they do all of that. And you can even tie it to my team in a way. So like let's say, a player scores 40. They usually get a moments card in my team. You'll have to use that player and like score 40 or however many points they scored against the computer and do some other stuff and you could get that card. But what if like they make it so where in play now online, if you score 40 with that player, you could just outright get that card because scoring 40 against a real person is a little harder than doing it against the computer. I don't know if that's something that they would want to do, but again, it'll give you a reason to want to play now. So as for rewards and incentives and things like that, those are ideas that I had. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Let me know any ideas that y'all had too. But moving on to like quality of life type of stuff, like I said, these are things that don't necessarily affect gameplay, but they can affect your overall experience on playing now. So I mean, the first one is just like making a game work. So things like bugs and glitches and server issues, things like your record being updated properly, like you're getting losses when you're not supposed to, or like you're not getting win, like stuff like that. Like next we got ranked and unranked. So like every multiplayer game at this point should have ranked, unranked, and this is something 2K had like way back in like 2K9. They had like ranked player match and then they had like regular player match. And it's basically in the game right now. Because when you look at the park, that's basically unranked. Like you can play against Pro 2s, you can play against a legend. And Pro-Am is not necessarily ranked, but it's more competitive. Same thing with the stage. It's a little more competitive. The rec is basically unranked. And 5v5 Pro-Am is like again not necessarily ranked, but it's competitive. So why not bring that to play now online? And play now online really needs ranked, unranked, and like you can just tell by the numbers. So if you look at the freshman league, you see like I'm on Xbox next gen and it's 164,000 people, but the next league up barely has not even 14,000 people, which shows that like people aren't even ranking up. So why not just make a ranked and an unranked mode where you can play against anybody in unranked? Because when you get up to the higher ranks, the problem is, well, you're kind of stuck there. So like You have longer queue times, probably have worse connections because there's a lot less people to match you with, and you probably even play against the same people over and over again, which is a possibility. And then you also combine that with the lack of rewards. It's like, what's the point of even ranking up? Which is partly why you see like a lot of the people on the leaderboards be in the freshman league, because like why even rank up? And the leaderboards is another problem that I could talk about later, but they should just have unranked where I can go in, especially like for the streaming. For me personally, like I can have like streams where like I'm trying mad hard and I'm trying to make a GOAT league, or like just have like competitive games playing against, like right now, like when you're in these higher leagues, you're playing against like the top 2% of players right now, so the games could get pretty sweaty, and it's like play against like the same play styles over and over again. But you know, maybe I want to go into unranked, like get a little more variety, or like just do like stupid challenges, like you know, have like the stream pick my team, or like you know, like high point games with certain players, or just like little stuff like that that you can't really do in these higher leagues because everybody's trying so hard. So ranked, unranked is like needed at this point. And like I said, like it's obvious that the game needs it because like nobody's ranking up. Like everybody's just staying in the freshman league. And it can also, you know, help with the rewards thing, like I said earlier. Like if you just wanted like a pair of shorts or like a certain player's jersey, I can just go into unranked and play a few games with a certain team or a certain player and get, you know, some cosmetics from my player. And also for unranked, you can make it so where all of the teams are unlocked, so you can just play with anybody. Um, because clearly nobody's ranking up. So like, who really wants to rank all the way up to the what league, to the college league, to play with like Shaq and Kobe or somebody like that, the tier 1 historic team? Like nobody's gonna do all of that. So like, just make it so where all the teams are unlocked. You could just go in, play a couple games, and just chill. Like I feel like playing online doesn't need to be like this grindy kind of mode, but just a mode that like people can hop on and play, pick any team, get a couple rewards for like their my player or like their my team or whatever. But if they do want to sweat, then you can have like a proper rank system. That's also rewarding too. Ranked, unranked, definitely, definitely. As far as the rank part goes, I mean, I guess you can try to keep it how it is with all the rankings. Maybe have less rankings because like is too much, but also make the difficulty Hall of Fame possibly, because like it's not necessarily easy, but like I feel like a lot less like BS what happened if it was on Hall of Fame, but I don't know. So next we have the tier system, which a lot of people hate, and I don't necessarily hate it, but it does need a lot of work. So I remember, you know, 2K16, like they first made this tier system, and you had 3 tiers, but no matter what tier of team that you picked, you can be matched with any team, which to me personally wasn't like, I didn't really care, but I could see where like a lot of problems would come because like you can have a tier 3 team, but you can constantly be playing against top 3 teams in the league. Which I mean, like I said, me personally, it didn't bother me, but like I can see where like it'll create a lot of unfair matchups. But at the same time, when you did beat those teams, you got rewarded for with like extra wins, and you also got extra views. So like in 2K16, I hit GOAT League. I did it pretty fast because I was playing with tier 3 teams a lot, and like a lot of times I'll play against tier 1s and I would win. So I would get basically 3 wins because you got a win for winning, and then you got 2 extra wins because the team was 2 tiers above me. So I was able to rank up pretty fast. And the way it is now, you still have this tier system, but you make it so where you have to play games with, you know, teams in each tier, which okay, fine. And you try to match teams within that tier, which okay, fine. But the problem is that a lot of times you get matched up with teams that are outside of your tier, and you don't get rewarded for beating those teams. And if you lose, you can either get, especially in the higher leagues, a lot of times it leads to you getting reset, and you just have harder games that you really not supposed to have. Like when I was in the NBA league before I got to the Hall of Fame league, like my last 4 games, like 3 of my last 4 games was against tier 1s, and the Mavs is tier 2 right now. So like I had to get some tier 2 wins, and I'm playing against the Lakers, I'm playing against the Sixers, I'm playing against the Celtics. It's like at that point, what's the point of the tier system if you're gonna match me outside of my tier and also not reward me for winning that game? So the tier system does need a lot of work. I'm not saying get rid of it, but like I would like team selection to come back, so like I can see what team my opponent is playing with, so that if I do want to play with a tier 2 against a tier 1, that's up to me to decide. Like you can keep the tiers, just bring back the team selection screen so we can see who each other's picking, and to see like if this is a matchup that I want to have. Because another big problem with it is because you can pick a team and then it'll just throw you in a match, and like you can't really match up, and like you just gotta pray that you get a good matchup that's beneficial to you, which is not good because you can't back out the game, which is something that you could do way back in like 2K10. Like it would say if you leave the game before tip off, the game wouldn't be counted, which is fine. I don't see why that's a problem and why they got rid of that, because now you can pick a certain team, but then they'll match you up with the team that's just not a good matchup for you, and you keep the game. So now you either have to try to play or take a loss that you really don't deserve. And also, since the tier system tries to match you with a team in your tier, you also end up with a lot of mirror matches, which I don't know how that's still happening, but it still does happen. It happens a lot less, but it still happens, and I don't know like why is it still a thing. Like this has been a problem for like literally years. And I'm not a programmer, but I did take a couple like coding classes before, and I learned something called like a if then statement or if else statement. So it's basically saying like if something happens, or like if some certain requirement is met, then something else would happen. So like wouldn't there be a line of code in there that says if player 1 has team A, then player 2 is not allowed to have team A, and it'll match for a certain team that's not the team that the person picked. Like I would assume there's something like that in matchmaking algorithm or whatever, but like I said, I don't know. I'm not a programmer, but still, mirror matches is still a thing. It's still a problem, and again, can't leave the game unless you want to get the loss. So the tier system, it needs a lot of adjusting. It needs a lot of work. I don't necessarily think it needs to go away. It just needs to be, like I said, it needs to be adjusted. Bring back the team selection screen, but you can keep the tiers so that if you willingly want to take a matchup that's outside your tier, that's up to you to decide. I don't feel like the game should decide that for you. The next thing is like saving a lot of your settings, whether like defensively, your defensive settings, offensive settings, favorite plays and stuff like that. I feel like there should be like a menu where you can just like save all of that stuff. So like you can start up a quick match and then like set up all your defensive settings, and like it'll save, and like once you start an online game, you just have to turn off adaptive coaching engine, and like all of your settings will still be there. But like I feel like they should just have a menu like right here somewhere. Just go to options, just like you have coach settings and controller settings. Make another menu that has defensive settings as well as offensive settings. Set it all right here, and you can just never have to worry about it. And you can also have make it so where you can have like presets. So like I can have like my regular defense, then I can have like a switch all defense, and then I can have like trap defense, like things like that. So like, you know, I can change whenever. So like I can go into the, so like I can set all of that up in the menus out there, and then come into the game and see like right here, team focus. Like I can have like all of my custom settings right here, and then just switch in between them. And so like I won't have to keep doing this like every game. Same thing for the offensive settings. I can set a freelance, or you know, some plays, and always have them, so that I don't have to do this every single game. There's also like a lot of like in-game quality of life type of changes that I would like to see. So like as far as like your offensive settings, like you can pick a freelance, but like you can't change it on the fly while in the game. Like on current gen you can, because right here you'll see like freelance 1, freelance 2, freelance 3, freelance 4, and like you can set them all up, and while you're in the game you can change them just by like pressing the D-pad and then changing them whenever. But on current gen you can't do that for some reason, so I would have to like call timeout and then change my freelance, and then like I don't see why I have to do that, because what happens is like, especially like in the higher leagues, people change up their defenses a lot. So like they might go from man, then they might play zone, and then they might go back to man, and then might play a different type of zone. So like I like changing my freelance depending on what type of defense that they're playing. But like having to call timeout every time I want to change my freelance is annoying. So like make it so where I can change my freelance on the fly. And another thing that's kind of minor, but like you can hear people going through the menus like right in the game. So like when they when they're doing this, and like they could be making subs, or like they could be calling a play, like you can hear them do all of that stuff. So like a lot of times I know when like somebody is switching a defense, or they calling a play, and you know, vice versa, they probably know when I'm doing something just because they can hear me going through the menus. And that used to never be a thing until like I forgot what 2K it was, but they just never fixed that. Like I don't want to hear them going through the menus, and I don't want them to hear me going through. So I don't know how that hasn't even been. Like I said, it's minor, but still. Another thing is like the favorite plays feature. So like I use this a lot because like you can call plays a lot faster instead of like having to press all the buttons. Like I'll just like put them in, and then you know I assign them to a player, so that I'll literally just have to press 2 buttons to call the play. But you see like it'll have like starter plays and then bench plays. So like they can't share the same plays. Like you have to have plays for the starters and then plays for the bench. I feel like they should just get rid of that and just make it so where you have all the plays available to both the starters and the bench. Like, I get what they try to do, but it just doesn't work. So like now a lot of times where I'll have the bench in, and they don't really have a lot of people that I could just create a shot like easy with, like I can with a lot of the starters. So like I'd be needing to call a play, but I don't have any plays available. So it's even harder to score with the bench at times, because there's not really a lot I can do open. So they should just make it so where you can just set plays and it goes for the starters. And another thing is adjusting your defense while you call like timeout on offense, and vice versa. If you call a timeout on defense, you can't adjust your offense. So like right here I have the ball and I'm on offense, and I call a timeout. So I go to game plan, I can adjust my offensive sets, but I can't adjust my defensive sets. Like it says NA, and I can't do anything about that. But if I'm on defense and I call a timeout, I could adjust those defensive sets, but I can't adjust my offensive sets. So see right here, I can change that, but I can't change my offense. Like they mean to tell me I can't discuss defense in an offensive timeout, and I can't discuss offense in a timeout. Like a timeout is a timeout. Like I should be able to do anything I want. I don't see Like, I don't see how this is helpful. But like, I don't see why this is a thing. And another thing is like changing defenses. So like I can be in man and then I can change the zone, but then like if I change back to man, like a lot of the times it won't change, which is like kind of annoying. So I would like a fix to that. Like, that'd be nice. And then you got leaderboards. Like, what is this? Like, people just 2,000-0, 1,000-0, 800-0 in the freshman league. Like, bro, what? And a lot of this is probably boosted because I think your play with friends record counts towards your overall record, which it shouldn't, but for some reason it does. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it does. And it's just like, bro, there's no way you play 2,800 games and never lagged out. Like, this is 2K we talk. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, 2K, like, fix this up, please. I don't even really care about leaderboards that much, but hey, this is crazy. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for the video. I didn't want to make it like too long. Like, obviously this is not everything, but like I feel like these things would be a step in the right direction to making Play Now at least like playable and rewarding. Play Now would never be the most popular mode again, and it would never be like the mode that they spend the most time and resources on. Just fine. Like, nobody's really expecting that. Like, I just wanted it to be a mode that you can like play and actually get rewarded for playing it. And like I said, a lot of these things I feel like it can be implemented pretty quickly, and so I don't see how a lot of these things would take a lot of time and effort for 2K to like implement. They would just like have to think about it for a little bit, and like they can do a lot of this stuff pretty easily. So let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Y'all agree, disagree? Let me know some of y'all's ideas. And as always, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content.